Textile fibers. Textile fibers come in many different categories. The first one we will talk about is our natural fibers. Natural fibers come from natural sources, and they can be divided into three categories. Some come from plants, other fibers come from animals, and there's a few fibers that come from minerals. We will focus on the plant and animal ones. Our first one to talk about is cotton. The origin of cotton growing, spinning, and weaving has been traced back to India, which then spread into China, Egypt, and other areas of the ancient world. Cotton grows on a bush, and the fibers develop in the seed pod, or something called a ball. Cotton strippers are machines that can remove the ripe balls. That's in industrialized nations. Other smaller countries, they can still be gathered by hand. A cotton gin is another machine that's used to separate the fibers from the seeds and the stems and the leaves and the dirt. Some are able to separate more than others. After that, the cotton fibers are packaged in bales and then sent to manufacturing factories for the next stages of processing. Cotton's fiber characteristics is that it is made from the seed of the cotton plant. It is the least expensive of all the natural fibers. It absorbs moisture wonderfully. Because of that, it's very comfortable to wear. It's a strong, durable fiber, and it accepts dyes easily. It accepts the dyes because it absorbs moisture. It's used mostly in children's clothing, summer clothing, and it's perfect for beginning sewing projects. Cotton is very easy to care for, and it holds up to repeated use when cleaning. It can be washed, dried, and pressed at high temperatures. It dries fairly quickly. It does tend to wrinkle a little bit. 100% cotton will shrink. Linen is our next fiber. The origins of linen have been found in the Swiss lake dwellings dating back to 8000 BC and also in ancient Egypt, about 3000 BC. Linen comes from the stalk of the flax plant. It is called a bast fiber. It has longer fibers than cotton. The flax plant not only provides linen from its stalk, but it can also be used for linseed oil that is derived from its seeds. Linen is made from the stem of the flax plant. It has many of the same characteristics as cotton because it is a plant fiber. Linen does wrinkle very easily. It's actually stronger than cotton, and that's due to its length of its fibers. It accepts dyes very easily. It is fairly expensive and is often used in creating a blend. It is commonly used for spring and summer wear and fine suits. Care for linen varies from washable, machine washable, to dry cleanable only. It really depends on the quality of the linen. Please always refer to and follow the directions on the care label. Always. Linen can be pressed at high temperatures with minimal shrinkage. Now we'll move into a few of our animal fibers. These are more protein-based. Silk is our first one. Silk production, or called sericulture, originated in China. It was a secret to the Western world for over 2,000 years. Chinese legend attributes the discovery of silk to Empress Xinglingxi, dating back to 2640 BC. The legend goes that she was sitting under a mulberry bush, drinking her warm tea, and a cocoon fell into her tea glass, and the warm liquid caused the sericin, which is what holds the cocoon together, to begin to loosen, and she picked up one of the fibers and unreeled the cocoon into one long thin strand. And she actually had talent at weaving, so she wove this strand into a piece of fabric and found that it was very lustrous, had beautiful drape, very lightweight, and thus silk was born. Silk is the cocoon wrappings of a silk moth. Many times we'll hear it referred to as a silkworm, but it's actually caterpillars, and they feed on mulberry leaves, and mostly only mulberry leaves. Then they spin a cocoon around themselves. You must boil the cocoon to kill the caterpillar and loosen the strand so it can be unraveled. Silk is the only natural filament fiber, meaning that it is measurable in multiple meters or yards in its length. If the caterpillar is left alive and eats its way out of the cocoon, you'll have very short fibers, which is another type that is used in silk production. It just doesn't have the high sheen quality that the long filament fiber offers. Some of the characteristics of silk is that it does not come from the silkworm, it's actually a caterpillar. It is considered a luxury fabric. It's very costly to feed only mulberry leaves repeatedly all day to these hungry little caterpillars. It has beautiful colors. It takes dyes very well and has a wonderful luster underneath the sunlight. It will wrinkle easily, and it is extremely weakened by sun, time, and water. Care varies from washable to dry clean only, depending on its quality. Always refer to the directions on the care label. Do not iron using moisture. Water spots can permanently stain the fabric. Use a medium heat setting when ironing. Wool is another animal fiber. Our animal fibers are considered protein fibers. They're based on animals. Wool's origin began with the domestication of wild sheep by primitive man in 10,000 BC, and the actual spinning and weaving of wool dating back to ancient times, which would be over 5,000 years ago from today. Wool was found in the eastern side of China and in northern Europe, and then spread from there. Wool is shorn from the sheep. There's many species which offer different qualities of wool, but with no damage to the animal when you shear the hair. The sheep can grow the hair back out for another shearing the following year. Wool is very warm, but it can shrink and it mats very easily. It absorbs moisture. It has natural fire retardant characteristics because it will hold that moisture and yet still feel dry. It eases and shapes well when constructed into garments. It keeps body heat in, and it doesn't show sewing errors as much as most other fabrics. You'll find it used mostly in coats, outer layer clothing, and high-quality suits. Care varies for wool from washable to dry cleanable only. If you can wash it by hand, it's usually suggested to wash it by hand and let it air dry. Any heat introduced to it will cause it to shrink. Again, always refer to and follow the directions on the care label. You can use high temperatures when pressing, and you can also use steam when pressing, and that will allow you to shape it over shoulder curves and around hips and bust areas as well. It's a very malleable type of fabric. Now back to some of our plant fabrics. Hemp is another one. Hemp is a bast fiber like linen, and its origins of use are about the same time as linen. Although hemp is more coarse than linen, so it was found to have been used in cording and ropes. It's actually extremely strong when wet, so on sailing ships it was a favorite. Hemp is not marijuana. Even though we may have heard the term hemp used for marijuana, It's a different type of species of plant in the hemp family, and it is also harvested much earlier than any of the fruit or flowers come to flowering stage. Hemp is a bast fiber similar to linen, but compared to linen, it is stronger, coarser, more absorbent, more durable, and more resistant to mildew. But it can fray and wrinkle badly when it's made into a cloth. It does shrink, but it softens over time when laundered. It actually is resistant to UV rays. Dry clean or steam dark colors which may fade badly and become white at the edges if washed. Light colors can be machine washed and dried, and it too can be pressed with high heat settings. Our last fiber today is bamboo. Bamboo originally had been found to be woven into hats that look like straw in China and Japan, but actually no date could be ascertained for that. But that was in its wide, flat strips. But modern production of bamboo is much like that of rayon. You'll discover the process of the rayon fiber manufactured through the manufactured fibers in the next chapter. But some of bamboo's characteristics is that it is a bast fiber. It is one of the fastest growing timbers and requires no pesticides or fertilizers, as cotton really needs a lot. It is more absorbent, it's cooler and softer than linen, hemp, or cotton. It takes dyes very easily, and it blends wonderfully with other fibers. It is resistant to sunlight and mildew and has limited UV protection for the wearer. It is also antibacterial, antifungal, and anti-static. I think in time you will see more and more bamboo products on the market. With bamboo, you can wash and rinse in cold water on a gentle cycle is recommended. When machine washing, use half the amount of soap than normal. It doesn't really need it. It's antibacterial. And when machine drying, remove from the dryer immediately to avoid any wrinkling. I have a few garments I've made from bamboo, and they are the most softest, comfortable items I have in my closet. Done.